Death Battle did some announcements, as they sometimes do. We got 4 announcements for the upcoming combatants and matchups in the next half of this season. One that means I can now talk about the thing I've been dodging for a bit now, one that made Biff shit his pants with joy so hard he rocked and repelled himself back to his homeland of Cthulhu Macula on Pluto, and one that I'm really interested in, or at least I would be if I could figure out who the hell it is, and a Dragon Ball character. Let's talk about these, starting with the revealed matchup, James Bond vs John Wick. The most notable thing with me in this is that I fucking called it! I sent this message to Biff way before the episode was announced at RTX, I mean the concert, and I can't fucking believe how close I was. He even suggested just showing both combatants because how obvious the matchup would be, and I said this in response. You can't make this shit up, I swear to Primus. Now I'm reasonably interested in this. It gives us our second novel character in James Bond. It gives us a movie character not from Star Wars for the first time since Mechagodzilla, not counting Poe and Broly and Beerus. Shut up. And it could be a really good and extremely grounded matchup. If they focus on the more modern interpretation of Bond, and less of the ridiculous gadgets and over-the-top explosions, more excessive hand-to-hand choreography and use of the environment, I think it could be great. I'm genuinely looking forward to it, but my feelings have been developing for a while now, and I want to express them better in the upcoming prediction that will be coming out. Our second reveal was Black Adam, one of my favorite DC villains of all time, a character I love for how he is someone born from shades of grey who understands both sides of morality and chooses to commit his acts of evil because they better his people, a character who has a really strong humour side to counteract the godly power he possesses, and is also just fucking rad. Love his design, love his brute power, love everything about him. I guess I'm just, I don't know. I'm honestly neutral to his reveal, actually. As I said before, life events, we'll call them, have basically rendered my ability to be hyped this season castrated. But as it stands, yeah, Black Adam is probably fighting Apocalypse. Now from an objective standpoint, I will say I do think Black Adam vs Doctor Doom is the better matchup. I think that's basically the perfect Black Adam matchup, and one of the 2 perfect Doctor Doom matchups along with Lex Luthor. But obviously a few things hold it back as a death battle. I don't need Doctor Doom a 3rd time. His last episode was last season as of this recording. And Black Adam has another opponent who makes up an in-joke matchup that Biff loves, so I need to want it, because I like pretending that I'm a good friend. Black Adam vs Apocalypse. I don't really care about Marvel vs DC as I said, and I'm sure you by now know how simply thrilled I am for another 20-minute long analysis looking at almost nothing but comic panels over and over and over. But I'm sure it'll be a good episode. I'm hoping Black Adam wins, and I probably think Black Adam wins. And the last thing I need this year is for Black Adam's movie to be bad, so I hope that's good too. Apocalypse is cool too, but after making Doomslayer his Hulk killer, I can safely say that Apocalypse sprites are some of the worst things I've ever had to work with, so my biggest emotion right now is God bless those animators. I pray for your mental well-being because these assets lick horse scrotum. The third reveal is Future Trunks, and frankly I could not be paid to give a shit. I like Trunks, don't get me wrong, I think he's a fun character, partially for how much of a fuck-up he is half the time. I like that he has a sword, that's kinda unique. I find him charming. I don't really care about him on Death Battle though. We already got Vegeta this season, who has basically all the exact same skilling, so the analysis is going to be another retread of the same universe shockwaves. Unless they do something miraculously stupid like scaling him to Jiren or Infinite Zamasu. I don't particularly care for his kit, like most Dragon Ball characters is basically all the same except he has a sword and his Ki Blast sometimes looks like fire. I also don't particularly like Super Saiyan Rage. It's just Super Saiyan regular with a blue outline. It comes out of nowhere with no explanation. It suddenly power creeps Trunks up enough to reasonably put up a fight without God Ki, and it's never heard from again. How fucking lame. And that's going to be about 50% of the animation most likely. Rage Trunks. He's also probably fighting Silver, which I don't dislike the matchup. I just don't care. It's fine in plenty of ways, and the situation where 1 Minute Melee, DBX, and Death Battle all do the same matchup is kinda neat in any case. Especially with both of those previous cases barely scratching the edge of interesting things to do in a fight Opolis. But in the end, I just don't care. It's not interesting. It's not interesting to me. Even in a better year for my life, I just don't think I'd be able to have any care for the matchup, and I really don't think Trunks is going to be the most interesting to analyze, because while I like the character, there's really nothing going on. I'm trying to think how they structure it. They definitely talk about his history, and then he kind of end it with he came back and saved his future forever, at least until Goku Black showed up, and then they destroyed the universe. They could do something like that, sure, as an ending, and like that's the story, but like the actual versus stuff and the analysis of abilities is going to be really dry and boring. I guess he could also fight Chrono, and I hear like 50-50 from Chrono Trigger fans on whether the matchup is cool or not, so really it's not going to be pleasing more than half the Chrono Trigger fans that I know. I thought the reveal was someone? I don't know, some guy, I've never heard of him. I think like that one Marvel character. I don't know, but I'm sure that he's someone I'd be super interested in. A character from one of my favorite franchises of all time, of which I read all the main books for back before I was even hard into Versus. Presumably, this unknown character would be put into a death battle against someone like, say, the Lich King from Warcraft, and they would have a battle that gives us a classic high fantasy matchup. This battle would hopefully be in 3D, and maybe involve both of their armies as a backdrop. I would also imagine that it will be a matchup I featured in one of my videos recently, where I mentioned a few of its drawbacks, but frankly couldn't care enough about them to overcome my interest. In terms of editing, this character, who might be Cloud Strife, has relatively little footage, with only a few video game boss battles, minimal screen time in one film, and some time as a silhouette. As a good deal of his purpose in the original books was to have a villain with minimal physical presence and no description, to really make him enigmatic and mysterious, less of a physical threat and more of just the overwhelming concept of evil. But I'll be certain in that hypothetical that Deathblood will be able to edit around the problem. I have been informed there is an episode this season that would show me something akin to how they'd edit it, but seeing as that episode does not exist to me, probably just a myth. Now this episode will show me. Presumably. If this was in any other season, this mystery combatant of which I do not know the name of may in fact have gotten me unreasonably hyped. But also, if they're fighting Voldemort, I'd rather inject superglue into my colon. While we're here, let's talk about a few matchups that I think could happen. We have 4 we don't know about. Thankfully, Death Battle have not left us in a situation where we know all of the second half, because now anyone who doesn't like any of the 4 matchups revealed still has something to look forward to. That's good. Here are some matchups which I'm not really trying to say are predictions as much as here are some matchups I think have a chance. Jason vs. Michael, I think this is going to be the matchup that is requested and predicted every year until it happens, joining the Galactus vs. Unicron, Alex vs. Cole, and Joker vs. Giorno Club. Bowser vs. Eggman, with the Mario movie and Sonic 2, as well as some Sonic 3 hype, I can't see this happening any later than maybe next season as a premiere. I could definitely see this being the finale this season. Gru vs. Megamind, which is more blind hope than genuine expectation. I just want it, it's real bad. Dragon Ball vs. Chosen Undead, but with that Enigma vs. Lich King taking up a high fantasy slot, I can also see this not happening this season. Like, when has Death Battle ever cared for not being repetitive with their season's matchup aesthetic? A fighting game matchup is not impossible. Liu Kang vs. Killer Instinct protagonist maybe. Possibly Dimitri vs. Slayer because of Guilty Gear hype. Who knows? Likely to get some manner of anime fight maybe. Maybe Eren vs. Ken Kaneki. Asta vs. Meliodas. Whitebeard featuring Escanor. Deku vs. Gon. Gojo vs. Makima. Any of those are possible. We might get a curveball with Monokuma vs. Koro Sensei, that'd be awesome. And of course, Kyle vs. Simone exists, but I'd rather that for next year. Now, with that being said, I don't have much else to, say, so thank you to all our patrons scrolling by on the screen right now. I'm gonna now do that thing again where I read out what they want me to say on my patron-only Discord, which you can access if you're a patron. That's how that works. You can probably tell by the name, because I just did not learn my fucking lesson last time about not doing this. Teehee! War crimes! Die! Wargate! I tried this a few times before now, but I can't do a William Regal impression. I can't do it justice, and I don't want to look like an idiot. I mean, I already do. So, subscribe to Biff Weed. Genuinely, do it. I've got tickets to go see the Black Adam movie. I can't do a Wiz impression either. Fuck you. I'm Nemesis Bloodrike, and this video has been sponsored by Raid Shadow.